The number one question I get when it comes to real estate is how do we get that house that we want when we have a house to sell? So we're going to go over all of the points that help you understand how to buy when you have to sell. Now, most people think that you just go out and buy the house and that seller is going to wait 3, 4, 5, 6 months for you to sell your house while you're holding them up the whole time. And nothing could be further from the truth, right? So I'll provide some real life examples of a property that we sold in Stevensville where they had to sell. They had 2 young kids and they needed to move down to Hamilton for work. They didn't want to commute back and forth. So what we did there was we did something called subject to. So first and foremost, you have to get the house on the market, your current house on the market, no exceptions, right? Very few sellers, maybe 1% of sellers. You get this house you really like and 1% of sellers are going to say, there is no way I'm going to, like I said, you're going to be held up for 4 or 5 months there. So what we did with them on the listing contract, it's just very, very simple. Inside the additional or special provisions, we write, this sale is subject to the seller finding suitable housing. So we put it on the market, we got them an offer, and the incoming buyer already knew that they had to wait for the seller to go find a new house. Now they were actively listing, right? So you should be looking and looking and looking the whole entire process out of respect for your incoming buyer. And then, so they got an offer, and if for some reason they could not, and we've never not found someone their next house, nobody's living under a bridge that's worked with us, that's for sure, in a cardboard box somewhere or a tent. You really don't have to have interim housing. It's not necessary. So we're going to break down. So they were able to go down, move into house seamlessly from one to the other, protected the whole entire way. And it was just a very, very smooth process. Okay. That's the beautiful thing when you have a listing agent like myself and we have, buyer representatives showing assistance here that can be showing while we're selling. So it's really good, but let's break this down, okay? Why you should list your home before making an offer. If you own a home and you want to buy another one, the single biggest mistake you can make is writing an offer that's contingent on selling a home that is not even on the market yet. It feels safe, it feels responsible, but from the seller's side of the table, the one you're trying to buy, it looks like a maybe wrapped in a maybe. In almost every market, sellers simply won't take that risk when there's a cleaner offer sitting next to yours with a house that doesn't have to sell. This guide explains what that is, why it is, and what to do instead to make your offer competitive, even in a market where you're both buying and selling. So why do sellers, it's important to know, why do sellers not take? Okay, oftentimes. Could it happen? Sure. Does it happen all the time? No. Okay. Why sellers reject homes that are not listed contingent offers. Put yourself in the seller's shoes for just a second. They've priced their home, they've prepped it, potentially staged it, and now they're comparing offers. It's on the market, they're having showings, they're getting offers. Here's what a contingent offer with an unlisted home tells them. There's no proof your home will sell for enough. Until your home's listed and getting real market feedback, no one, including you, actually knows what it will sell for. The seller has no way to know if your financing will hold together once your home is actually tested against the market. They have no idea what kind of buyer you're going to accept. If your incoming buyer has 2 or 3 houses to sell, there could be 12 houses that have to sell. Why would a seller take on 100% of the risk, right? So the timeline depends entirely on your home selling. A seller who accepts your offer is quietly agreeing to put their own move on hold, sometimes for months. Why would they want to wait on a home that they have no control over, no visibility on? They don't even know how it's priced, especially if it's out of state. They have no clue how good the agent is down there or over there, right? Again, no control over the pricing, no control over how many price reductions you'll do if there's no showings. They have no clue about any of that stuff. Whereas if it is under contract, they can know who the agent is, that it actually sold, what the offer looks like that you got, how many houses overall have to sell, what the contingencies are on the offer you took on your house. So there's just so much there, you have to peel back the layer of that onion, and that's what sellers are doing in today's more competitive market. There's no clock running. Again, an unlisted home has no start, no finish line. Just very risky for a seller. Deals fall apart. And when the deal falls apart, your incoming buyer on your house you may want to list falls apart. So does the offer on the one that you're trying to buy. Again, it's just not wise to just not work that out ahead of time. So what's the fix, right? List and get your home pending first, right? You do not want to lose to a better offer. So the good news, this problem is entirely solvable, and solving it dramatically improves your odds. So here's a sequence. List your current home, accept an offer and go pending, then make your offer. The order matters more than buyers and sellers understand. If you find the perfect next home before your current home is pending and try to write an offer on it, the likelihood again of it standing up next to another offer is very low. So what does it do for your offer? Why is it important? Certainty replaces speculation. Your numbers become real to the seller. They're finite. They're already on a contract. A timeline appears for the seller, right? That seller needs to say yes to you, but you're not giving them any reason to say yes. You're asking for everything, they get nothing. You compete on equal footing with most other or more other buyers. You remove that seller's, the person that you're making an offer on their house, you remove their biggest fear. Sitting there forever waiting on you when they don't know anything about what you're trying to get done, right? Because it's just not on the market. They can't weigh anything versus anything else. So yes, you can list before you found your next home. It's the wisest way to get the house that you want on the other side. Common fear is, well, what if I sell my house and I can't find anything to buy? Well, if you're not trying to check 15 out of 10 boxes, you're going to find something, right? You can never check 10 out of 10 boxes, but if you could get 8 or 9, would you do it? Of course. So this is a legitimate concern, but it doesn't mean you should wait to list. Sure, you can go look, right? It means the contract on your sale needs to protect you. Make your home subject to finding suitable housing inside the listing contract. You can't change that. Build in the right to cancel if you don't find a home, which we do. And the example I gave you before. And reimburse the buyer's inspection cost as goodwill if you do cancel. That's going to make them feel more comfortable to make an offer on your home. If you're like, look, if I just can't find a house, I'll reimburse you for half or all of your home inspection. Then they're not out any money. And that really is the right thing to do. And of course, that's what we want to do. Now, what if you're worried about having to move twice? Maybe negotiate a rent back where you can stay past closing. Use a closing contingency instead of a sale contingency, or both. Consider temporary housing as a bridge, live with an in-law, or rent a place for a couple months, though we don't recommend that. And talk to your lender about bridge financing. Oftentimes you have enough equity on the house you're trying to sell or about to list, where you can just get some cash out there for a few months, buy that other house, and then sell this house, okay? So the bottom line, sellers aren't trying to be difficult when they pass on contingent offers tied to unlisted houses. They're just protecting their own timeline and their certainty, right? And you would too. I would never recommend that you take an offer like that on your house at any price, right? They got to see it, and they can't have a house that they have to sell. If they do, it needs to be under contract and preferably past inspection, okay? So if you have any questions on how to move from one seamlessly into the other, we do it all the time. I'd say, I don't know, maybe on 40 or 50% of the ones that we sell. It is just so common, right? Because nobody's living nowhere, so they usually have something to sell. So anyway, have an incredible day. Let us know how we can help or provide clarity regarding buying and selling.